besties. So sorry about, like, I have the fan on because it's hot, and if that's like making a lot of noise, I'm sorry, but I think the highest setting makes less noise than the lower settings somehow, so it could be worse, you know. Anyway, so I just finished rewatching She-Ra. I watched it for the first time. Like, my cousin and her girlfriend recommended it, and they're like, it's gay, and I was like, yeah, I've been hurt before, you know, like thinking that a show is gonna have like gay representation, and then it didn't. And then I was watching it, and like the girl that I talk about a lot on this channel, the girl that I used to work with, that I thought was like love at first sight when I first saw her, and then she told me she's not gay, like we stopped being friends like shortly before that. And so I was like watching it thinking about like our relationship the whole time. Like, it wasn't a like romantic relationship on her part. Like, the whole time I knew her though, I was like imagining us like getting married. But she like started dating a guy. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I was watching She-Ra, and like I was just thinking about it like right before I started filming. Like, I was like, what do I talk about? And then yeah, just like I was thinking that She-Ra seems to take place in like an alternate universe where like being gay is like the standard and like the norm, and then being straight or heterosexual is actually illegal. Because it's like, if you think about the relationships on that show, like you have Beau and Glimmer, which are like, they're the main, I mean, Adora and Kadra are like the main couple. Adora's the main character, She-Ra, and then Kadra's like the main love interest. They kiss at the end and stuff. Surprise, I didn't think it was gonna happen. I was like, it's a kid's show, obviously it's not gonna like meet my wildest dreams, but like, oh my gosh. Yeah, they kissed and everything. I was like, that's crazy. Spoiler alert, sorry if you were like gonna watch it. Anyway, yeah, it was so good. And then, so yeah, back to Beau and Glimmer. They're like the like best friend, like kind of like the next, like the B plot, I guess, characters. Their romance is like next on the show. But like they don't really like spend the whole time flirting. They don't like yeah, you can tell like Glimmer gets jealous when Beau starts hanging out with like Perfuma and stuff, but like, yeah, it's not like very romantic the whole time because they've got other stuff going on, you know. They're not just like, oh my god, like talking to, she's not like going behind the scenes with like Adora and being like, oh my god, I have a huge crush on Beau, like, do you think he likes me? Like, it just like they don't talk about it until like the last episode, and then everyone's like, I love you, I love you. It's like, okay, that's fun. But like, there's like Beau's dads. Beau has two dads, and like we go meet his family, and it's just like fine, and they're like living together, and they're like his dads, and that's just like normal. And then like Glimmer's parents Glimmer's parents are straight. The hetero, well, we don't know that, they could be bisexual, I don't know, pansexual, anything else, but they're presented in a heterosexual appearing monogamous relationship. So yeah, they're straight, and like when we, okay, spoiler alerts for the whole thing. Like, I'm not gonna, okay, so when we meet them, we think that Glimmer's dad has died. His name is Micah. He's like a very powerful wizard, and like we think he died in the war, but then like the characters meet him later. And then Glimmer's mom is there, she's the queen, and like her and Glimmer fight all the time because Glimmer's mom is like, her name's it's weird, Angela, I think, because it's just Angela, but then it's like Angel, so they say it weird, and I'm always like, I don't know. Okay, it's like Angela or something, I could be saying it wrong. Yeah, so they're like the main straight couple, but like they're separated, and we think the dad's dead. And then there's like this whole thing where like the heart of Etheria is a weapon. I don't even know what that means. Like, how would, whatever, it doesn't make sense to me. I have the same issue with like Lord of the Rings, or like we have all these rings with the power, and I'm like, how, where did the rings get the power? Like, how do you, and I just like can't really get past that. and like get into the story, because I'm like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why? What's in the ring? Like, why is it more powerful? Why does it give you power? It doesn't. I already said it doesn't make sense. We're going back to She-Ra. There's this like whole Heart of Etheria is like a weapon, and then Adora has to like save it, and there's, I don't know. I also get it mixed up with like the final thing that was like, it's the fail safe, and so Adora has to like get the fail safe in her body and then like take it to the Heart of Etheria. I don't know. There's a lot going on, but anyway, there's some kind of like illusion, like portal that was opened that's like destroying the universe, and somebody has to go in it and close the portal, and that person isn't going to be able to come out. And so and the portal also like makes everything appear perfect. So like we see like Adora wakes up with like in the Horde with Catra, and they're like friends still, and like slowly things start falling apart, and everyone's saying it's perfect, but like and then we see a bright moon. Micah is there with Angela, whatever, and like they're just like a happy family and everything's great, and then like everything's falling apart, and Angela is like, yeah, things are wrong. Like she gets mad at Adora for saying that like that's not right, and like that Micah was dead, but then she realizes like, you know, this is like not like the truth, and I don't want to live in a lie, so I'm gonna go in the portal and close it. And so she does, and then so Glimmer's like, oh my gosh, now I'm an orphan, like both of my parents are dead. Well, she's not an orphan, she's the queen. But like both of her parents are dead. But then we find out that Micah was actually alive, and so like the sacrifice, I mean, like from her perspective it's still very like meaningful, but then like from my perspective, finding out like Angela just like sacrificed herself because like Micah wasn't really alive, and she like didn't want to like live in a world without him, and then like to find out he was still alive, and they like would have eventually, but like we did need someone to close the portal. So like whatever, it's fine, I'm just gonna, but it's kind of like, you know, like why would you punish the straights like and then like the other couples are like Natasha and Spinnerella. They're just like openly lesbian and they're together, and like sure, Spinnerella gets like the chip on her neck and then they end up like fighting and stuff, but then like Natasha saves her with the power of love, and it's like so beautiful. And then yeah, the other straight couple, like Bo and Glimmer, don't get anything more than like Catra and Adora. And so like there's one other straight couple that I was thinking about. Oh my gosh. Oh, right, Mermista and what's his name, the ship captain guy. She like hates him. She treats him like she hates him, which like she doesn't, because like he also saves her with the power of love when she gets chipped at the end. And like yeah, like she's obviously like uncomfortable with her feelings. But like why? Because being straight is illegal in this alternate universe. Anyway, yeah, like do Bo and Glimmer even kiss? I don't think so. Like Bo kisses her on the forehead. Glimmer says that she loves him, and then he says I love you too, and he kisses her on the forehead. And then like Adora and Catra actually get like a real kiss, which like both times I've watched it, I'm like, I would have written it differently. I would have had Catra like confess to Adora that she was in love with her before, like, because so Adora can turn into She-Ra, and She-Ra's like a magical like invincible woman, but like somehow she dies. I don't know, like she's like a reincarnated kind of thing, like a Doctor Who, not necessarily, because it's like more like an avatar where it's like reborn into like a different person, I guess, kind of. So Adora's like born, she finds out she can turn into She-Ra, but like it's kind of a psychosomatic thing, like if she's like having trouble, similar to Avatar again, where like when Avatar is like too focused on Katara, he like closes his chakras. The guy, he pronounces it so like enunciated on the show, and I think it's fun. Chakra. But yeah, so it like messes with his chakras, and then same with Adora, like her relationship with Catra is confusing her, and then so she loses touch with She-Ra. And so like when, as I was talking about before, there's like this fail-safe thing. It's like a crystal. She goes and stands under it, and it like gets like absorbed into her body, and you can see it like glows in her heart. A little like constellation kind of looking thing. And then she like walks it to the heart of Etheria, whatever that is. And then she's supposed to like stand under like where it's somehow a weapon, but she is using the failsafe. So like, but it's we learned that like She-Ra is invincible, so like she would be able to survive it, but like any mortal would be like devoured in the process. Like they wouldn't be able to survive. So when Adora loses touch with She-Ra, she's like still like thinking she's gonna sacrifice her life to save the rest of the universe, and it's very noble. And Catra's very upset because she loves Adora, and she's like, why does it always have to be you? Why do you always have to sacrifice yourself for everyone else? Like, what do you want, you know? She's like, I have to do this, otherwise like everyone's gonna die. So it's like, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I'm like, if it were me, Catra's there at the end. She like runs away, and then like the teacher who told Adora that she like needed to sacrifice herself like convinces Catra to like go save her. So Catra's there at the end, and Adora's like, I have to do this, and Catra's like, what's gonna happen to you? She's like, it doesn't matter. And then so Catra's like, or Adora's like, you should just go, because I'm just gonna do this. Catra's like, no, I'm gonna stay here no matter what happens. And it's like, oh my gosh. And then then Adora goes and uses like, she goes into the failsafe, and then it's like taking a toll on her body, but like she can hear Catra saying, like Catra's like holding her body and saying like, Adora, don't leave me, come back, you know. And so she like has this like vision of like Catra opening a door and saying like, come, like you need to stay with me. And then so she like unlocks She-Ra again, and like she's able to like process the whatever. And then after that, Catra says, I love you, and then they kiss. And she's like, I love you, I've always loved you. And so what was I gonna say? I just think like both times I've watched it, I'm like, I want Catra to tell Adora that she loves her before she like does this thing. Like, I don't know, is that selfish of her? I don't know, like to be like, I know you're gonna like kill yourself to like save everybody, but like I love you. Like to me, I would be like, I want you to know this before you go. By the way, I just like, I have a crush on you. No, like, I guess, so like in my version, it would make sense to have her like confess, and then She-Ra can like come back before she goes into the thing. But like, I guess it's more dramatic and suspenseful the other way. But like, whatever. I hate that like that's something that like media chose to value. Like when I was watching American Idol, we watched it for one season with my family like growing up, but it was like too much. I couldn't like especially the last like portion of it where they're like the final 10, and like each week like they cut one person, and they're like just the suspense that they build into and then it's like the two people on the last episode sing, and they're like, who will be the next American Idol? We'll find out in 3, 2, commercial break. And then it's like, oh my god, now we have to wait like 5 more minutes for this. I don't even care that much. Like, and like watching the Twilight movie, like Breaking Dawn Part 1, the end where Bella's like turning into a vampire. Spoiler alert, sorry. You're like, I haven't read Twilight or seen the movies yet. Yeah, she's turning into a vampire, and it's just like, I know what's happening. I read the books. I know she's not gonna die. This is Breaking Dawn Part 1. Like, you spoiled it just by splitting up the movies. I know she's not gonna die. Like, just stop pretending. Like, it just feels fake to me. Like, yeah, again, like, even if I didn't know, I'd still be like, oh, come on, this is like so dramatic, like just get to the point. Oh my gosh, there's a deer in the neighbor's yard. I love that. Okay. Yeah, the suspense was just like too much. So maybe that's that's probably why they chose to go that direction. But like I was like, I can't imagine like being that in love with someone and like letting them die without like saying it, you know? I don't know. So yeah, straight people straight people don't have rights in Shira, apparently. So I'm trying to think like what other like couples even are there. They don't focus that much on other like romantic love. Like the next closest thing I could think of would be like Hordak and Entrapta. But they focus a lot on the word friend. They always say friend, you're my friend, I made a friend. And like also I loved how they ended like Hordak, because Hordak's the villain for a long time, and then we find out he's like a clone of another like more evil guy, and like Horde Prime, and then Hordak becomes like the only of the, there's like a bunch of clones, and they're a hive mind. It's like, it's really interesting because that makes it really hard to fight against him. But then there's the one that's like, he kind of remembers his past and like remembers that he had a different name, and like remembers Entrapta, and like remembers that he made a friend, and so he's like, he stands up for himself and like breaks from the hive mind to like save her. Like he's also saved by the power of love, but it's like platonic love, because they say the word friend. They don't say I love you like Bo and Glimmer or Adora and Catra. Yeah, so if you're looking for a new if you're looking for a gay show and you haven't seen She-Ra and you let me spoil it this far for you, highly, well, I do recommend it, but I do also kind of find it like a little bit nauseating how like, because it's for kids, I think, but like I still love like kids media, but it's like like contrasting. I already compared it to like Avatar, sort of. So like Avatar had like normal names like Aang and Katara, Sokka. They're not like names that you would hear like normal, like as in you hear them in everyday life, but they're just names. They don't really like, but like on She-Ra they're all like, it's Mermista, and that's the mermaid, and Perfuma, and she's the plant girl, and it's Scorpia is the scorpion, and it's just like, oh my god. And the names for the land, like there's Bright Moon, and there's like I don't remember all the names, like, but it's just like, oh my god, just call something just something normal for once. Yeah, that was like my one. I just find the names like slightly too much. But I don't know if that's even them, like the people who made the show, or like I don't know how much is in the comics based, like, because I know it's based on comic books. But I did see something about like so I said Mermista and the sea captain guy are in a like heterosexual relationship, or again they could be bi or pan or something else, but just for the sake of like, you know what I'm just, yeah, the sake of this conversation where I'm saying heterosexuals don't have rights in whatever, I don't know what to call it, because it's not just, or I guess it'd be Etheria. Heterosexuals don't have rights on Etheria. Yeah. Then what was I saying? Who cares? I don't know. Okay, I gotta change colors on this next round. Next row. It's not a round. Okay. And then, oh, another one, like I watched Steven Universe. I think I watched it like a little bit as it was sort of coming out, and I kind of, again, I was like, I'm too old for this, it's a little childish. And then like I saw, so I probably watched like one season and I was like, I don't think I need to like keep up with this. And then I saw like a lot of lesbians would talk about it. And And like eventually I started watching it again, and then I think like I caught up to where they were at the time, so probably like season 3 or so, and then like they were on hiatus maybe, and then like a few years later, so this was like now a few years ago, I was watching a YouTube video essay about how, okay, so somebody made a really long video essay about why Steven Universe was bad, and then I was watching a video essay about why that video essay was bad. But I still hadn't watched all of Steven Universe, and then so watching that essay about, they were calling out the other person for being like transphobic and like probably anti-Semitic and like all kinds of stuff, probably racist, I don't know. They're like, it just like, it made me want to watch the show the way they were talking about it, and I was like, because I did like it, but it was just like, it felt like the stakes were really low, and then like it's kind of like a show that it starts off with really low stakes, and then as it goes on, hi little kitty cat, like the stakes get higher and higher, and we meet like more and more, like we learn more about, what's up little wasabi, he's camera shy. Yeah, but then I did really like, when I watched all of it and then got to the end of it, I really liked it. And the end of it, and like the message, like I was getting really emotional too about just like children's media in general, and like the messages that they get, because like the big baddie in Steven Universe is like the White Diamond. She's like kind of fascist basically. Same with like Horde Prime, and then like the heroes are like the ones fighting fascism, and like just the heroes are the gay ones, and like yeah, so like the White Diamond thing was like, she was obsessed with impurities and like fixing impurities, and then it's like just like you're not allowed to have fun because it's like bad to have, it's like it doesn't look good, it's like it's, yeah, it's a mistake, it's a bad look, it's unladylike, improper, whatever. Yeah, I didn't make iced tea as I was talking about yesterday. I was like, I might, no, I just got Arizona cans. It's so much easier to whatever, consumerism. Yeah, I hate capitalism. Anyway, yeah, it just gives me a lot of hope watching like the kids shows that are out there, and like it makes me like really emotional and really like hopeful about like the future, and like yeah, just like these kids are growing up learning these like good messages and stuff. Like people complain a lot about like kids these days, you know, and then like as I was growing up I would hear it about me obviously, and then I saw a Tumblr post that was like me and my generation and like all the shit that we were doing that was so bad, and then I saw a Tumblr post that was like kind of showing how that hasn't changed, that like has kind of always happened like generation to generation, because there's like someone in like medieval times was complaining about like these kids who were like just getting into playing cards or something. I forget if the old person was complaining, but like no one uses playing cards these days, they're all doing whatever else, or like all these kids with their fancy new playing card. But it was like, so it's like I can't imagine like an old person getting mad at us for like using playing cards, because like they do too. Like my grandparents' house was just like covered, like after my grandma died I moved in to like their house where they were living, and there were just playing cards like all over the place. Anyway, so it was just like kind of funny to me. It was like, okay, so like this isn't new, this is like something that like this is just humans being human, just like making fun of the younger people for not being like us, and like old people these days will complain about the young kids. Like one thing I saw was like a video on TikTok or something where someone was asking kids if they could read an analog clock, like the one with the numbers, and the like, I have a watch on again from my grandma's house that I got after she died, The batteries don't work, so I just like wear it because it's like it matches my Palestine necklace. But it doesn't work anyway, because it doesn't matter, because we have like clocks I have a clock on my phone, I have a clock on my laptop, I have a clock on the microwave, and the whatever, like I don't need it on my wrist, you know. And so like I saw a video of someone asking a bunch of like kids in maybe high school, like 9th graders or something, to read an analog clock, and they couldn't do it, and it was really funny to watch. But like a bunch of people in the comments were like, oh, it's so what a shame that kids these days like can't read or whatever. And it's like, no, like they can't read this kind of clock, but they could still tell you what, like if you ask them what time is it, they'll be able to tell you what time it is, but they can't read this like dumb thing that like it doesn't matter. And I read recently that like apparently kids don't know, they have like less exposure to coins and stuff. Okay, it's fine. We don't need to worry about it. Okay, we're fine. Okay. Less exposure to coins and stuff. I have this is the front anyway, so we're fine. Okay, it's on the right side. I was just like getting mad about nothing. Yeah, because these days have less exposure to like coins because everything is on cards most of the time, or like Bitcoin, I don't know. But they just buy stuff online, whatever. I don't know what kids do. But yeah, they like don't know, like a teacher had to like make a note that like they needed to go over how to count money more because like the kids were less exposed to it already. And there was like another example that I was trying to think. There was I talk about Knitting Cult Lady a lot. She has like a little podcast with I don't know why I said little. She has a podcast with White Woman Whisperer, and it's called like Hey White Women. They were talking about something like that recently, and then I left a comment about my thing about the clocks, but like now I can't remember what they were talking about. But anyway, yeah, it's just like people get mad about like kids not being able to do the things that like they're able to do, but like we don't need to, like it's obsolete now. We don't need to all know the same things, you know? I feel like my little, yeah, this thing to like hang it on the hanger, the little see-through plastic, I was like, that feels like it's been hanging out this whole time, and I've been too ashamed to reach over to my armpit to check. There we go. It's gonna draw attention to the fact that I didn't shave. Look at how disgusting and hairy that who cares? Oh, do I have my iPad? No. I saw something, like what's the point of even bringing it up? And like I saw something that I wanted to talk about, and it's on my phone. I saved it from Pinterest, and I was like, I'm saving it on my phone, and I'm not gonna be able to talk about it because I'm gonna be recording on the camera on my phone. So, okay. But I think it was about, okay, well, I don't remember. I'm thinking about something else, but I saw like a post about Neil Gaiman. And I'd made, okay, so there's like a lot of ICE raids going on where they're like kidnapping people, and I would say deporting, but that's like not really, they're sending, I don't even know, they're just sending people who are like born here to other countries for no reason. It's so stupid. But like there's a lot of people on Blue Sky, which like, by the way, I think I mentioned my Blue Sky before, and I said it's Lauren Julia with like 2 N's and 2 A's. It's actually just 1 N and 1 A, because I made an account before with that handle, and then I deactivated it, and then I don't remember the password to reactivate it. So I can't, so it's just 1 N and 1 A, but whatever. I was seeing a lot of people say fuck ICE, fuck ICE, fuck ICE, whatever. And it was kind of like, okay, as a sexual assault survivor, and like I have a friend who was like raped like multiple times, and like we've talked about this. Like I was there for her like after like one of the times, and we were talking, like I was trying to like keep her like not like distracted or like, but like, you know, I was trying to be there with her and like stay active and like keep doing things. So we were like hanging out with like a guy that we worked with, who like I've never really liked, but other people seem to like him, I guess. So like whatever, she was like, let's go hang out with him, and I was like, fine, whatever. And he was talking to her, like, and we told him what happened and stuff, and like just the things that he would say, and like just men in general, after like I tell them about like, oh yeah, I was sexually assaulted, it's always like so violent. It's like, oh, let me beat that guy up for you. And it's like, okay, well, he's not here, first of all. Like, I don't know where he, like, that's a fun fantasy, but like that doesn't really help me right now, and it's just like more violent, and it's just really not helpful in any capacity. So but this guy in particular, yeah, we told him like what had happened to her, and like he told her, not like immediately, but like, yeah, in the same conversation, he was like, you should start an OnlyFans. And it was like, yeah, I just had my body like she was drugged. Like this guy she met on like Tinder invited her to a party. He gave her a drink when she came in, and it was like roofied, and yeah, so like she was violated. Like again, she had no say. Like there's times when like people will be like, oh, well, why didn't you say no, why didn't you fight back or whatever, and it's like, well, I don't really know, like I just felt coerced. But like in this case she really like couldn't, like she was drugged. So like, not that I'm not trying to like make a distinction that it's like that, but like anyway, yeah, pretend I just ignore that part. But yeah, it was just like a bad situation. I'm like, why did I bring that up? So yeah, she was violated like against her will, and this guy's like, you should make an OnlyFans. And it's like, how do you think like exposing your body to like more people that like you don't know, it's like, oh, empowering because you're like taking back control or whatever, but it's just like not a helpful thing to say to someone who's just been raped, you know? So I was just like, ugh, men are so annoying. And then so yeah, like, and another thing people will say is like, oh, fuck that guy. Like, oh yeah, I was sexually assaulted, fuck that guy. And it's like, no, I didn't want to actually, and I still surprisingly don't. I'm not going to. Thanks for the suggestion. Like, I know what they mean, but like it's just like, maybe I'm being too like nitpicky and like focusing on the semantics of it, but like I don't like that. I don't like when people say that, like especially in cases of like rapists and like predators, like sexual predators. So I saw a post about Neil Gaiman, and they're like, fuck that guy. And then like someone quote tweeted it, and they're like, yeah, fuck this guy. And so it was like the first thing and the last thing like on the screenshot, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I should like, because I had already made posts about it on Blue Sky. Like I think I made like a small like mini thread, like 3 posts or whatever. They call them skeets, and I hate it. Yeah. So everyone's like, fuck ICE, fuck ICE. I'm like, I don't like when people say this. And it's like, fuck Neil Gaiman, fuck Donald Trump. And it's like, actually, they're predators. Like, I would prefer not to, like, I would just prefer not to hear people even say it, to be honest. Like, I don't want to imagine, like, because when you say that, it just, like, an image immediately just pops into my head. Like, fuck that. And then I just see, like, very, like, sexualized version of, like, this person that I don't want to think about that way. And it's just, like, it's so annoying. Anyway. What do I even title? I was talking about kids shows, and now I'm talking about sexual predators, which apparently is not like that far apart in topics because of like sexual predators who work on kids shows. Hello. Disgusting. I hate that that's like a thing. Like nothing in this country makes any, like, not that it doesn't make any sense, like it makes sense to me. Like I hate it. Everything's backwards because like we built this country on like the foundation of white supremacy. Like literally, like everything in our founding documents is like written by white supremacists for white supremacists. Like I don't think that, I've said this before, but like I don't think that we can save this country. And like everything, like people talk about like, oh, like why are there so many cults? Like how do people get like caught up in cults? And why are there so many like multi-level marketing schemes and like other types of scams and stuff. And it's like, because the whole government is a scam, like the whole thing is a multi-level marketing scheme. And then so people try to make money, and they're like, well, how do other successful people make money? It's like, well, let me like follow this model set by the government, and then it's like, oh, that's illegal because the whole thing is ridiculous. That's why I'm an anarchist. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't read theory. I've tried, like when I first started, I was like, I want to be an anarchist. Like I was like really into communism, and then I was like, I don't think communism's like necessarily the right way. I think like anarchism, but like I haven't read Karl Marx. I haven't read that much theory in general. I bought one book. I looked up anarchy on like thrift books, I think, and just like found one book called Mutual Aid, not by Dean Spade, by like Peter Kropotkin or something. And like it was pretty good for a while, and then like after a couple chapters he started talking about like the native savages and stuff, and I was like, I don't think I want to like keep reading this, so I stopped. But like before that it was like pretty interesting, and it was talking about like I think, if I remember, it was a couple years ago, but like they were talking about the difference between like the I'm trying to, like evolution, like Darwin's theory, like the difference between like survival of the fittest and like the concept of like species that, like the species that help each other will like survive the most. And so it's like a call to like make more of a like, I don't know, communal society, I guess. I don't, but like, yeah, I just didn't like that he started talking about native savages after like 6 chapters or something, and I was just like, I don't want to keep reading this. And I also like haven't really been in a position like financially to just be like buying books, so I'm like, I haven't really read that much theory about it, but like it just makes sense to me logically. Like I don't think that we need a government, and like there's a couple examples of times like the laws have backfired. Like there was an example, I think it was from a Zoe B video, but I can't remember, but like I think it was her talking about like there's a law about snakes. Like there was a town that was like infested with snakes, and so they made a law that was like, if you bring us a snake head or something, we'll give you X amount of money. And so people started breeding snakes so that they could have more snakes to bring to get more money. And so it's like they made this law because they wanted less snakes in the town, and then like the result of the law is people start breeding snakes. And there's just like all kinds of examples like that where it's like you want one thing so you make a law, but then it actually like backfires and like causes the opposite of what you wanted. And I had more examples in my head when I started saying that, and now like I was just watching a video, Some More News, where they were talking about something like that, and now it's just like fuzzy because I started talking about something else. The idea was neglected, and so it's like, okay, fine, I'm gonna go away. Yeah, anyway. And then also like that reminds me, yesterday I started talking like why I started making videos, and like the Rowan Ellis video that I watched, and like how it made me watch the episode of Black Mirror, Hotel Reverie, and it made me cry. And then I started talking about like the girl that like my dad was letting live downstairs came up, and like I forgot she was there, and I was crying like really loud, and like just really letting myself get into it, and just being like sad and gay, and like, oh my gosh, the girls I liked haven't liked me, and like this is just so like just pouring it all out. And then she like runs upstairs, she's like, oh my god, are you okay? And I'm like, fuck, like I'm so mad that she's even here. And so like I started talking about like, why is she even here? And then I never even got to the point of like she came up the stairs and asked me like if I was okay when I was crying, and I just like started so yeah, this girl started living with us, and it like has nothing to do with anything else I was talking about. And yeah, I was just thinking about it after I finished recording, of course, and like I never finished explaining why I brought that up. So there it is. That's my that's my reasoning. And oh gosh, okay, so I have like 2 more rows of this bad boy. I mean, once I finish this, one, so yeah. But I only have like 10 more stitches, so I'm almost done. Then 2 more rows, and then I get to change color again. And it feels like this one's like longer already than this one, but I folded it down and then it like matched. Yeah, it does look a little bit bigger, but it's fine. But I felt like I was counting wrong, so I'm like, this one looks longer than this one, and it doesn't feel like I should keep going, but I triple checked my chart, so okay, cat. And then there's this one, and there's the sun and the moon. It's my yoga mat. Yay! Bisexual moon, lesbian sun. My little kitty cats. And there's a watermelon, a couple watermelons. That's all I have for you for now, I guess, because this is already like so chaotic, and I'm like, what am I gonna title it? Anyway, what if I just call it fuck ice? Who cares? But like, I don't like when people say that, which is like what I was talking about, but like I feel like people would click on it is what I was thinking when I said that. But like, then I'm playing into the thing that I don't like, so like I'm probably not gonna call it that, but anyway, I'll think of something. Okay, thanks for watching. Tune in next time to find out whatever I remember that I was talking about this time. Alright, see you next time. Bye. Free Palestine, free Sudan, free Congo, free all oppressed beings everywhere. Okay, bye.